podcast land, and like to welcome my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. Fairly short work week. Taking the Wednesday off for my birthday,
Nice.
and now I get to hang out with you for a little bit this weekend.
Yeah, I took Friday off, and I'm off Monday and Tuesday, and that's going to be great. Got a bunch of work done last minute, though, so well-deserved break this week, and I'm excited for that. But we have a great show for you today, folks. As we are doing, my sister's getting married today, so early shout out for that. And besides that, it's Rich's birthday. We also got to give a shout out. We're celebrating early. The big shout out will be next week, Life Day for Joe Perry, and happy birthday to my dad. We'll get those all out of the way at the beginning.
Okay.
And happy birthday to you.
Thank you, sir.
Rich turned a whole year older.
Yeah.
Yeah. What number is that for you, Rich?
4-1.
Oh, man.
4-1.
It's creeping up there, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So, Mike, on today's show, we're going to look at what happened in the world of the Chicago Cubs this week, like we always do, and going into the NASCAR corner. And Mike, what is our NFL topic this week?
So this week we are going to be talking about our power rankings, where Rich and I have teams in the preseason, why, and kind of our thoughts on that. We'll see how much of that we get to. We're definitely going to do our top 10 and our bottom 5, and give you kind of where the Bears are currently ranked. And maybe the North, and we'll see what all we end up doing.
Well, we'll get to the other show. We'll get to where the other teams are ranked when we start going into the divisional previews.
Right. And then we also have, I have the intro up, so I don't have the rest of the show outline.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's it.
I sent you something, though. What was the thing?
Oh, yeah.
What baseball needs to do to make baseball better?
Yes.
Yeah,
we'll touch on that. But Mike, all that and more. But what do we got to do?
We got to roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
All right, Mike. Welcome back. So, Mike, before we get into the show, we got to talk about our poll question, Mike, which was still Jock Jam Stadium songs. We're in the semifinals. No, it would still be the quarterfinals. This week's matchup was the final countdown against Welcome to the Jungle. Before we give our vote totals, Mike, where did you vote?
What were they again? Welcome to the Jungle.
Final countdown and Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, we got what you need. We got everything you want. We got your disease. Welcome to the jungle.
That's where I went to. Mike, the shout-outs we got to give. 3 votes for the final countdown going to Sue Hart, Danielle Hart, and Monica Nicole Bacon. The winner this week, joining Mike and I with Welcome to the Jungle, were Bernie Colkins, Doug Vanderwitt, Nicholas Klein, and Mike Sable.
Yeah, I mean, how can you beat a classic metal song?
That's right. This week, Mike, and I actually did get it right this time, Living on a Prayer will go up against Thunderstruck.
Okay.
Living on a Prayer, Thunderstruck. The poll's already live. Where can they find that poll, Mike?
You can find it on Facebook.com/ballsandsticks or Facebook.com/fans of Balls and Sticks. Rich, let's get into the show. Do you see what's coming up next?
I don't, Mike. What's that?
It's a left turn.
And after that, Mike?
Another left turn. Why is that, Rich?
Well, Mike, because we're headed into the NASCAR corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. If you're local, they're down on 5th Avenue in Moline, Illinois, and they're also on the eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Mike, where were we last week?
Last week we were in New Hampshire for the Crayon 301 at New Hampshire. Martin Truex Jr. is your race winner. Rich, your pick of Christopher Bell finished 29th. My pick of Ross Chastain finished 23rd. What did that bring our
the season total is now 15-9 in favor of myself. So it was Monday race, and I guess if it's Monday, Martin Truex wins.
Yeah, Monday Martin.
Yeah, second Monday race win this year for Truex.
Yep.
And he got a lobster. He got a lobster out of it.
A rock lobster?
It might be a rock lobster.
Okay. So,
did you get a chance to watch the race, listen to the race?
Monday I was at work.
Okay.
It's been a heck of a week at work.
All right.
Hopefully it calms down this week.
Gotcha.
But, no, I didn't get to watch any of it. Did you?
I watched a little bit of it on my lunch break.
Yeah.
And then I put it on the radio after my lunch break, and then got home and got to watch the last 10 laps.
That's awesome. Good. Okay.
And Christopher Bell could have won if he didn't wreck out within the last 5 laps.
Wow.
I could have gotten another win. All right, Mike. So this week they're going to the Tricky Triangle up in the Poconos for the HighPoint.com 400. Mike, you have the honors. Who you get to pick?
I'm going to pick Denny Hamlin.
All right.
You need an old school driver for an old school track.
All right, not a bad pick. Hamlin does have a good track record at the Tricky Triangle. I'm going to go with the guy that also has a good track record. And my wife's not going to like the pick, but I'm going to go Kyle Busch.
I'm going to tell her when we get upstairs.
That's fine. But Kyle Busch in the Poconos.
Okay. Rich, let's keep making left turns as we go around the diamond.
Do we want to give a NASCAR shout out? We got to give the
yeah.
Let me bring that up real quick.
We're both working on our phones because my computer is what we're using to record.
Okay.
So
overall standings in the fantasy league for New Hampshire. New Hampshire, I won the week with 203. Dupo got second with 173. Mikey came in third with 158. Jordan Lasupas got 155. And the Funkhouse got 73.
I actually saw 3 of the people that play last night.
You did?
I told them to put their lineups in.
That's good.
They
Hopefully
couldn't remember their password.
Oh, that's why they're not getting updated lineups in.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Overall standings, I have the lead with 3650. Dupo is in second with 3530. Mike, you're in third with 3208. The Funkhouse has 2972. Jordan Lasupas 2414. Jenna Beans 1825, and Jeffrey Disroop 1438.
Okay.
Make sure to get those lineups in. And if you want to join our Fantasy NASCAR group late, there's probably a link in our description.
There is, and you can if you put lineups in every week, you very possibly could catch Jenna Beans and Jeffrey the Droop and beat them. So, okay, let's continue to make left turns as we head out of the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on their eBay store. Once again, this is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. The Cubs played 2 with the Reds, 3 with the Nationals, and 2 against the Cardinals. Rich, you said they were going to win 3. Yes. I said 4. How'd they do?
They went 4-3 as they split with the Red Sox, not the Reds.
Oh, sorry, Red Sox.
They won 2 out of 3 against the Nats, and they split the series with the Cardinals. This is the show-to-show series, not the entire series.
Right. They have 2 more against the Cardinals, 2 against the White Sox, and 2 against the Cardinals. We'll give you those next week. We'll give you those in just a minute. But first, you have a question here.
I do. So the Cubs' current record, Mike, they are sitting at 48-51. 6 games back to get a wild card spot in the do-or-die elimination game. Well, in the division, they're 7.5 games back of the Brewers. Would you buy, sell, or stand pat at the trade deadline with the way the team, with what you've seen so far? And the trade deadline being less than 2 weeks away.
I have a great answer for this, but I want to hear your answer first, and then I'm going to give you my answer and my why.
I'm thinking you got. I think you got to sell. I don't think this team is going. If you make the playoffs, either as the division champ or you lose or you go to the wild card game, I don't think this team is going to go far out of the first round.
Yep.
So I would take what you can get if you're getting good offers for Bellinger, Stroman, Drew Smiley. You can find somebody to take Michael Fulmer off your hands.
Yep. Okay. I like those. I like your reasoning. I don't think you're 100% wrong.
Okay. What would you do?
But I'm a buy guy.
All right. Why would you buy?
Where were the Cubs 2 months ago?
Still in third place in their division. I don't know where they're.
But they were. Now I'm going to say proportionally because there were less.
Okay.
2 months less worth of games, but they were proportionally way farther back.
All right.
A month ago, I think they were something like 12 to 15 games back.
Okay.
Today, they're only 7 games back. 6 games, 7 games.
7.5 for the
7.5 for the division. We are making progress. They are showing the ability to win games, and our division is starting to. The top teams are starting to lose games.
Okay.
We have a chance to make the division win. Something we haven't done since 2017.
I think it was 18. Was the last time we made the playoffs. It was 18.
But I thought we were the wild card.
Yeah, I think 18 was a wild card year.
Right. So 17 was the division.
Yeah.
So, get these guys learning how to win and what winning looks like. And when you do that, they keep winning. And they have. They've started winning well. They are winning well. They continue to do well. It is time to kick this team into high gear. Sell off some of your lesser guys. Get better. Now, I actually think Bellinger and Stroman could be on the trade block, but because you can get bigger things for them.
Okay.
You're going to trade both of those guys to get a real ace. You're going to trade both of those guys. Like, if you do things correctly, your selling can look like buying, or can become buying, and I think that's what they need to do. I think they need to do a better job of picking up people who are going to help a lot more and get that taken care of. So I think they're buyers because they're moving up. They are in third. They've stayed steady there, but they're moving up in games behind, and they're getting better there. I think there's still time.
Yeah, for me, I think if you trade Stroman and Bellinger with an eye toward getting getting players back that could help the team this year, I think that weakens the team too much that it's going to be harder for them to continue to be contenders.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I think we're doing a good job, and I think we're making progress.
And for me, with the way this team is, I don't know if I'm ready to give. I don't know if I'd want to see them give up some of those top prospects to lose in the first round, or to basically lose in the first round. That's
the thing I think that's the real problem here, is that honestly they're not a playoff caliber team. They might make the playoffs because our division is that bad. But you're right, and so I will concede that I think your approach is correct in the long term, but
I think the team's still playing the long game right now.
And I think they are too. So you're probably right, but I'm okay either way.
All right. So probably more trade deadline talk next week, as the deadline is the 31st or the 1st. I'm not quite sure without having to look it up. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll have some more names as far as trades that happened, or I'm sure the Cubs will be in the news as either buyers or sellers. All right, Mike, so next week they are facing the Cardinals,
White Sox.
the White Sox in Chicago, and then they go to St. Louis for the first time this year, which is crazy. It'll be July, and this is the first time we're going to St. Louis.
This balanced schedule is just weird to me.
Well, we lost 2 games because they played in London.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because they wanted to have a division rival game in London. So, Mike, how many wins do you think they can get this week?
Well, the Cardinals are not a great team. The White Sox, they're okay.
Okay.
Overall, I think they can get 4 out of this.
I'm gonna go 500 this week. I'm just not liking the pitching matchups in the last 2 games against the Cardinals this week, as they're going to go with a bullpen game. You know how bad the bullpen is this year. And for today's game, and I think it's either Hendricks or Smiley, which is kind of hit or miss. So I'm only going to give them 3 games, and those. So I'll go. Yeah, I'm just going to go a split right down the middle in all 3 of those series.
Okay. So with our baseball talk, I sent this thing to you, and I strongly agree with it. Enough that I sent it to you, and I shared it, and I liked it, and I think this is 100% something that should be emailed to Rob Manfred and with 1,000 signatures.
Okay, I think some of them are
Or
realistic.
1 million signatures. Let's go 1 million signatures.
I'll give it
billion
to you
signatures.
that some of them are realistic. I don't know if all of them are.
Okay.
We'll go with it.
So, how MLB can fix baseball. Change number 1. End local streaming blackouts.
Yeah.
I've been on this for how many years?
At least 4 or 5.
Yeah, this is the biggest bane of the existence that is the NFL, or is the MLB. The NFL is as hot as it is because every week your local team is on your local channels for you to watch locally over the air for free.
Or if you want to pay, or if your team is not in your market, there's a service that you can pay for to watch out-of-market games.
Yep. So, and those local blackouts, you can pay for out-of-market games. But the markets actually are a little bit are tighter.
Yep.
So, I technically would be in the out-of-market for the Chicago Bears, so I could watch the Bears if I wanted to. I can't watch the Cubs if I want to.
No, and you can't watch the White Sox. You can't watch the Twins. You can't watch the Cardinals. You can't watch the Royals.
Can't watch St. Louis Cardinals.
No. Can't watch any of those teams because you're in their local market.
I think we even get hit with Milwaukee.
Yeah. Milwaukee is another team.
I think there's 6 teams that the state of Iowa can't watch. How many teams do we have in the state of Iowa, Rich?
You have 0.
Wait. We have 0 teams that play there, but we're blacked out from 6 teams?
Yeah, what's strange is I don't have the blackout map in front of me, but if you live in Philadelphia, you can technically still watch Yankees games.
Right.
Even though there's probably a shorter distance between Philly and New York than there is between
Esterville and Chicago. Esterville and St. Louis.
Yep. It's crazy. That one I'll let you read them, give your opinion. I'll kind of give the are they realistic or do I agree with them point of view, and the end local blackouts I can agree with, and I think there is some. They're working on getting this resolved because of the mess that is the Bally Sports Network.
Yeah.
Bally Sports went bankrupt, and gradually they are either skipping payments to teams that have signed up for them to be their regional sports network carrier, and now Major League Baseball is taking over the broadcasting rights for at least 3 teams now because Bally's defaulted on their payment. Diamond Vision, I think. Diamond Vision, but it's Bally Sports on your TV channels.
I still get to watch the Twins, the White Sox, the Cardinals, and the Royals, all because of Bally's.
Yeah. So more teams. So I think this could come out.
Yeah.
This could get resolved. Out of
Next
all
years.
the things on the list, I think this could be the first thing to actually get resolved and implemented. Mike, what's number 2?
Number 2, and I'm gonna change number 2.
All right.
They say number 2 is free entry for kids on weekend games. I'm gonna say no to that.
Okay.
I'm gonna say kids entries for free on weekday games.
Okay.
Weekday games in particular.
So day afternoon game.
Afternoon games
During the week.
Because kids aren't in school in the summer.
Yep.
Take your kids to a game. That is how I think it should be. Because
Okay. And I'm glad you brought
adults
that
have to work. So it's hard for us to go. But on the weekends, I want to go to a game. Adults should go to a game. On the weekdays, especially day games, let the kids go for free.
With a paid adult?
With a paid adult.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that one. I like I'm glad that you kind of changed that. Because any games being...
Well, this says weekend.
Yeah,
and I think weekend games, I think those should be... Let the teams make their money on weekends. But weekdays, and make more day games.
Yeah, I like that idea too. I could see it's just weekday games.
Yeah.
Not even day games. Just put it in during the week. 'Cause, I think most teams, if you probably looked at any team but the Cubs, if day games, especially during the week, those getaway day Thursday games, even if it was every Thursday game, which is typically a day game for a lot of teams.
Yep.
Because that's getaway day. Make that a kids get in free game.
Yep.
Boost the attendance of those games, whether it's a night game, an early day game, a day game, or an late afternoon game.
Yeah.
That's a way to do it.
Yeah.
The teams are still going to make their money because people need to eat, and the concessions are ridiculously priced at the stadiums.
So that's number 2. Number 3, mic'd up players.
I don't know how I feel on this one.
They're already doing it.
Yeah,
they do it. I watched the game.
It's just whether they're interacting with them while play is going on, or if it's.
I'm trying to remember who it was. It was at the. By the way, this one's already a thing, so this is just put it in every game is basically what this one is.
Gotcha.
But did you watch any of the Cubs Cardinals in London?
A little bit.
They had players mic'd up on the field while playing. And were talking while play was going on.
I think it's a little... I don't like that too much. If you're going to have it in season, I don't mind it if it's like, between innings, or, kind of like filling that airtime between innings.
Yeah.
So-and-so was mic'd up. Let's listen in on what happened, like this inning.
Yeah.
But live, talking with the players while it's going on, I think it's a little bit distracting as somebody watching the game.
I like it, but I don't like it all at the same time. I think that I can foresee very easily it causing an error. And as soon as you have an error caused by this,
then it stops.
Then it has to stop.
All right, Mike, number 4 on the list. Financial supports by grassroots minor league baseball.
Yeah, this one I'm not a huge... I'm a fan of, but I'm not this is not one that I would die on the hill of. But what this really is about is our river bandits.
Mm-hmm.
It's independent leagues. It's these places. I would argue Banana Ball is excluded.
Yeah.
But everything else, bring the major leagues as part of it. The bandits they're doing better about pay scale for players. There's some trickle down some rules they've made that say that the players have to make a decent wage. But is Kansas City putting any money into Modern Woodmen?
No. And that's where I was going to come with, too. You can't have Major League Baseball saying, well, your stadium needs to have these standards, and you need to support the players that we're giving you to fill out your roster without any obligations from the teams.
Yeah.
Do the Major League ownership groups, like the Royals?
Yeah.
Does the Royals ownership group have to have some sort of ownership stake in each one of their minor league levels so that some money funnels down to them?
I think at minimum some money has to funnel down some way. Now, here's some thoughts for that. One, if they make the facilities up to snuff for the training facilities, let's say they do that. If your training facilities are up to an appropriate standard, what says you couldn't just say, hey, let's actually do a major league game at one of these ball stadiums?
Yeah.
If they're requiring that they have a minimum set of health care provided at the emergency response and the ability to do certain training things at the stadium. Those are currently required. If we fund it, if we see that money funnel in, why wouldn't the team say, the Royals are playing at historic John O'Donnell Stadium, and do one game or a series at these small stadiums? Bring life to these stadiums. Yes, the ownership group how about the ownership group does a 50-50 split with the owner of the local team? You're going to end up with 20,000, 30,000 fans. I think John O'Donnell can hold 22,000 roughly if they fill up every square inch of that place.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have that. And you could charge a premium for it. You could charge major league pricing for it. How about do that as your financial way? The teams the owner gets probably, if they do a series, if you do one 3-game series, you probably end up with $100,000 of your cut of the 50. They probably make $200,000 that night. You probably get $50,000 for your team or for you, or $100. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if an entire series is feasible, but I mean, you could make it a part of the calendar. Minor league day.
Yeah.
Minor league day. Put everybody, because a lot of these teams are so close to their minor league affiliates nowadays. It's feasible. Or even if the major league owners and the teams are funneling money down to make these required improvements to the facilities for the players, how about spread your minor league rehab assignments out amongst all your affiliates instead of sending guys just to your AAA or AA affiliate? How many times do you hear on the Cubs transaction log, so-and-so is going to be at a rehab assignment in Iowa or in AA or in AA?
Yeah.
You very rarely hear people going down to Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Myrtle Beach
or
and South Bend. Myrtle Beach or
South Bend.
Or South Bend. Very rarely
or the
do they go
Smokies.
down. No, they go to Smokies fairly consistently. Most of the time it's AAA Iowa or to the AA Smokies down in Tennessee.
Okay. So that's number 4. Number 5. Now this one's kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But I like it. All concessions served in a plastic helmet.
It's doable with your nachos and your ice cream, though.
Your nachos, your ice cream. You can stick. I mean, if you have, all you got to do is be able to stick a hot dog in it and put a hamburger on top. Give a kid, give me something that I get to take home with me for my purchase. Now, you don't need your pop, but your burgers, your dogs, your nachos, and your ice cream all need a plastic helmet. I can even go with, if You could serve Skyline chili in a helmet.
Yeah, you could.
I wouldn't put it on afterwards.
No.
It might need to go through the dishwasher 3 or 4 times, but you could serve it.
Okay, that's fair. And the last one, Mike, leave the game alone.
Tell me
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
No. I don't know how much more they can change it.
Get rid of it.
Unless they're going to go extreme and, offense still isn't where we need it to be. We're going to give you an extra hitter. We're going to give you an extra hitter or
Banana ball.
the pinch runner situation.
We're heading towards banana ball being the national pastime. Speaking of, you went to one of those banana ball games.
Not yet. I go in the 26th of August.
Okay.
Next month. Next month I go to a banana ball game.
We'll talk about that then. Okay. So,
that's it. Those were the 6 things.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to it, Mike?
you know what? I actually think these are the best. I think these are accurate. I think rule number 5 is mostly a joke, but it's fun, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 should be number 2. Number 1 is number 1. Number 2 is 3. Number 3 is 4. Number 4 is 5. Number 5 is 6.
Which one is a deal breaker? This has got to be taken care of.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1 by far and away.
And number 1 was eliminating blackouts.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with it. I mean, if you have a service, that over $100 for the year, but you're going to limit how people can use that service.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yep. Okay, so that was that. Let's get back to
The show outline that takes us into the NFL.
Okay.
So this week, Mike, we are going to look at our preseason power rankings. This week, we're just going to give you a top 10, our bottom 5, and where we have the Bears as training camp opens.
Okay, but first and foremost, we have to celebrate. Players are reporting, and we are officially starting football.
Yes.
So, I in fact was at work, and we had the backup punter / kicker for the Iowa Hawkeyes practiced on our field this week.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
All right, Mike. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the bottom 5 or the top 10, Mike?
Let's start with the top 10.
All right, Mike. My number 1 team, I got to go with the Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they are far above. I think they are far and above best team in the league currently, and they look to be for the next few years.
Yeah, until somebody knocks them off, or if they start the season really bad, they're probably going to be in the number 1 spot for a long time.
Rich,
long time in my rankings.
At number 2, I have the Cincinnati Joe Burrows.
I put the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're the best team in the NFC.
Okay.
There could be some growing pains as a lot of the rookies that they drafted now have to put up and replace some veterans that departed after the Super Bowl team. But the offense is still there with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Bengals at number 3, though.
Okay. So at number 3, I have the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. All right.
I still think they have. Now it's hard because the AFC runs through Kansas City, but Buffalo is on the cusp of being right there with them.
Okay.
They have the potential, and you made the argument, and I'll let you make it. What are preseason power rankings all about?
It's about potential because you don't have much to go off of. You're looking at, all right, what did they do last year, and with the off-season additions that they made through free agency and the draft, was that enough to move them up in the rankings from where we stopped our rankings, which was at week number 18 before the playoffs started. Yep. I have the Bengals a little lower, not much though.
You have the Bills.
The Bills, sorry.
Yep.
The San Francisco 49ers is who I put at number 4. I thought that was a dominating defense that they had last year.
And their defense is what gives them the ranking as high as I gave them, but it's not 4.
Okay. And, I mean, I think it's still going to be interesting what they do at the quarterback spot because you got Brock Purdy coming off an injured shoulder. You got Trey Lance coming off a leg injury. And you got Sam Darnold coming off of bad seasons in Carolina. But they really don't need the quarterback to do much in that offense. They just need to do just enough.
Right. Don't lose the game for us is all you need.
So, Mike, who do you have at number 4?
Number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
I'm still not sold on Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I wasn't last year, and I'm not this year.
But at least you do have them ranked as the highest NFC team. So I'll give you
that. Yeah.
All right, Mike. Number 5.
This is where I put San Francisco 49ers.
All right. I put the Buffalo Bills here. It just seems like, for me, I know that their top rusher is Josh Allen, who's also their quarterback.
Yep.
But I don't like the rest of their running back room, and I'm a little bit concerned about who their other wide receiver is besides Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, but Josh Allen seems to be able to... Josh Allen has that ability that we've seen in so many great quarterbacks in the past to take mediocre receivers and do good things, get good production out of them. That's why I have them ranked higher.
Okay.
He looks like one of those elite quarterbacks that can do that type stuff. So that's why I say they're number 3. Number
6.
This is where I have the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. Leadership-wise, they are in the middle of that creek filled with poo. And they have nothing to move them anywhere except for the flow of the creek.
The Cowboys made my top 10, but they didn't make it this high.
But their talent alone, if you just look at talent alone, they have what could arguably be a top 5 team. If you look at talent alone, they very much could be a top 5 team. I think where they fall flat is their on-field leadership and their coaching and off-field leadership.
All right. That's why I put them a little lower.
They have the talent to be a top 5 team. You also hate the Dallas Cowboys.
No, not necessarily. My number 6 was the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
They have Lamar Jackson back. They're actually putting... I like the new offensive game plan that they've put around him, potentially. Getting Todd Monken from the University of Georgia. And finally getting him wide receivers that you know. Zay Flowers in the draft and Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. I put in that number... with the Baltimore Ravens, I put them at number 7.
Okay. All right, so we're not that far off on them.
That one I'm good with, yeah.
So my number 7 team is the Miami Dolphins, and I'm going off of potential here. If Tua Tagovailoa plays, by all means, that's a big if.
Rich, can you tell me what date he got off of concussion protocol?
Sometime in the off season.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
I don't think it was that far, but go ahead.
Okay, it was into the off season. It was post Super Bowl. I think it was post draft.
He's been taking judo to help him with falls. How to fall correctly, supposedly.
Great.
But with power rankings, you judge on what the potential could be.
And the potential is...
And you can't argue with what they did those first 8 or 9 weeks.
The potential is he's going to get a concussion and die on the field, and we're not going to be able to revive him back like we saw with Damar Hamlin. This man should not play another snap in his life. Look how bad those two games back-to-back being that bad. You're telling me he should come back from that?
I don't think he should.
He spent more time He spent 11 weeks in concussion protocol. He spent more than half the season last year in concussion protocol. By the way, he also spent concussion protocol through the postseason and through a good chunk of the off season. Why should this man take another snap in his life?
He probably shouldn't, but at the same time, Miami needs to have a better backup plan.
Okay.
Matt White's not it. But
I agree.
Much like you said with the Dallas Cowboys, you're grading up with power rankings. You got to give them going off of the talent, and the talent is there on the Miami roster.
They have talent, but Tua Tagovailoa is not, and their backup is not.
No, that team is a different team when Tua's not on the field.
If Tua's not there, here's my question: if let's say next week. Let's say they're in practice, he slips and falls and forgets his jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever it is.
All right.
Goes back on concussion protocol. Where do they go in your power rankings?
Probably 12 or 13.
Okay.
12 or 13. Because that's a different team when they don't have Tagovailoa under center. Just the way their offense has been designed.
Okay.
So number 8, Mike, I put the Seattle Seahawks.
Woo!
We agree.
We agree. Seattle Seahawks. Let's do it.
Yeah. Lot to like on that team. Can Geno Smith do it again, though?
I hope so.
That's a big question mark.
Yep, that is the big question mark, but he has the potential to. I think they're a number 8 team. Number 9, I put the Los Angeles team that shares the facility, not owns the facility.
Okay.
Your Chargers.
You know, I struggle with where to put the Chargers.
Yeah.
On paper, they look like they should be a good team.
And
But they play in a tough division, and they always find a way to crumble down the stretch
but
and get in their own way.
again, if we're doing this on
I
pure
know.
potential,
The Chargers should be there.
the Chargers are there.
The Chargers didn't make my top 10 for that reason. They're at number 11. But we won't go that. Let's go
Let's go to 11 because we both need to go to 11 for our own reasons.
All right. I put the Dallas Cowboys here at number 9.
Okay. And you know what? I can understand why you would drop them that low. By the way, what you did for the Cowboys, or what you're doing with the Chargers, is the same thing you're doing with the Cowboys. So I don't fault you for it. Your logic is the same,
Mm-hmm.
but your logic for Miami is not. That's the one problem I have.
All right, that's fine.
But okay, I'm not mad at it.
And to round out the top 10, Mike, I put the New York Jets.
I put a controversial team in.
All right, who's that?
I put the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars, I put at number 12.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers could make a difference there in New York. They've had a good team last year. It's just their quarterback. Their quarterback is what prevented them from doing well last year.
I like that logic, but here's the problem I have with it.
All right.
One, they're in New York.
All right.
That's a much harder place to play than in Green Bay. That's number one. Number two, what did Aaron look like last year?
Not good. Not good.
What makes you think that's going to change?
I think he might be motivated to show what he can do in a new market.
Okay. By the way, the one thing that I would say that's different this year than last year, he's already proven it. He showed up for camp already.
Yeah.
He's not waiting and trying to figure out, like, do I make out with this supermodel? Do I take drugs? Or do I do Jeopardy? He's not doing any of that right now. What he's doing...
And he didn't play his, I'm a veteran quarterback. I don't need to play training camp.
Right. He showed up at early camp. I'm good with it.
That's the one thing I didn't like.
Oh, really?
No. That he did this year, saying that I'm going to be at training camp because I need to get a feel for the team and I need to get to know my wide receivers. Last year he had new receivers in Green Bay and didn't feel training camp was important.
He didn't want to be in Green Bay. But I would argue he didn't show enough potential last year to deserve to move
Yeah,
that
the one
team
thing
up that
working
high.
against the Jets, though, is they play in a tough division. We'll get to that when we go into our division talk. So, Mike, you said you wanted to go to 11, so who
We'll
do you
go
have
to
at
12
11?
actually.
Okay,
We're
who
going to
do
go
you
to
have?
12.
Who do you have?
I have the Miami Dolphins at 11.
All right, and that's fair because you
I think if
because of
Tua
your
plays,
concerns with
Tua plays, they're a top 10 team. But I can't trust that Tua is going to play and keep them in that top 10 ranking for longer than a week.
And that's fair. So I gave my 11 being the LA Chargers because they can't seem to put together a full season. And at 12 is where I put the Jacksonville Jaguars because I want to see which team is going to show up. Is it going to be the team that was week 8 into the playoffs, or are you going to get the team that was kind of inconsistent and still learning the system, which was weeks 1 through 8?
Right. And I put at number 12 the New York Football Jets.
Okay. All right.
So, our top 12 is actually the same.
Just a different order.
Just different order.
All right. All right, Mike. So let's go with the bottom 5.
Do you want to stop at the bottom, or do you want to start?
We'll work our way up to the top.
Okay. So we're going to go with team number 32. I still don't see any potential in this team.
Who's that team, Mike?
The Houston Texans.
I think there's a worse team this year, Mike.
Okay. Who do you think is worse?
The Arizona Cardinals. Their quarterback, and probably best player on the roster, Kyler Murray, is out for at least the first 6 weeks because of recovering from an injury.
Yeah.
There's questions on whether the head coach, the front office, a new new coaching staff wants him on the roster because he was a Cliff Kingsbury guy, hand-picked guy.
Yep.
So they could be tanking and they have the potential with having Houston's first round pick to be able to get a quarterback and the best player in next month's draft. So
yeah.
And their best wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, is now in Nashville. I don't see how that offense is going to do well, and I don't think their offensive line is any good.
Kyler Murray's on a prove it year. So he's going to ball out. And so that makes them better than 32.
All right. My 31 team is the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. I don't see that one.
For the Colts, your quarterback is going to be a rookie quarterback who struggled in college.
Right. I get the question about
but has potential, and Anthony Richardson, or it's going to be Gardner Minshew.
Hey, the mustache wins.
I still think the Colts have a little bit of rebuilding to do.
I think they do too.
Steichen.
I don't think they're not a great team, but the bottom 5 is hard because there's a lot of bad teams.
Yep.
So, my 31 is the Denver Broncos.
All right.
Prove to me that they're making any changes.
I don't have the Broncos anywhere near the bottom 5.
But I'm asking, what changes have they made?
Bringing in Sean Payton.
Okay.
But apart from that, yeah, they really haven't changed that
How long does it take for a coach to get his stuff set?
Probably a couple seasons. At least the first year is kind of a punt year.
Okay. So if the first year's a punt year, then why would the Denver Broncos be any higher than 30th even?
I think there are worse teams than the Denver Broncos.
Then let's get to the next one. At 30th, Rich, or did you do your 31? Yeah, you did the Colts. At 30th, who do you got?
The Houston Texans at 31.
Okay, this is going to get me, this next one, 30 is where I'm putting the Arizona Cardinals.
All right.
A garbage team, but I think they're better than both the Broncos and the Texans.
For me, I think the Texans are a little bit better than the Colts and the Cardinals. I think I just like what they're bringing in a lot of people from San Francisco into Houston, and maybe C.J. Stroud could be a better option than Davis Webb.
Okay, who do you got ahead? 29, Rich.
29, I put the Carolina Panthers, mostly because I want to see this team do bad. Because who gets their first round pick? The Bears.
No, 29 is where I have them.
All right.
28 is where I have our Chicago Bears.
28 is where I put the Washington football team commander's name to be determined.
Yeah, I have them at 27.
Okay.
So not far off, but the Bears did decent in the draft.
Okay.
But I don't know.
You're still in wait and see mode?
I'm still in wait and see mode. I think there's still a few more spots that it'd be nice to get some signings and make some moves.
Okay.
So
yeah, for me, I put the Washington. I put Washington at number 28 because I think they missed an opportunity to draft a quarterback when they had a chance.
They did, 100%.
And it's a team up in turmoil. It's a team in transition right now. Yeah. I think they're kind of stuck in the middle of.
And the last I heard that the sale has not been finalized and could fall through.
It could. I heard that it's done.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope so.
6.5. I think it was $6.5 billion.
Wow.
But Dan Snyder got fined $60 million out the door.
Okay.
So
Rich, where do you have the Bears?
I put the Bears at number 23.
Okay.
And I'm going off of I think they're better than the teams that I have ranked above them. Because for me, Mike, I don't know what to make of the entire NFC South.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers, the Falcons.
A huge question there.
I don't know what to think of the Raiders. The Raiders the Vegas Raiders they're dependent on Jimmy G to come back from an injury.
Yep.
And the guy can't stay healthy, and they don't have a good backup quarterback. And I don't know what to think of the Packers. So when there's that many question marks, I'm going to go with the team that I know and go with the Bears. Go off of potential. Yeah. I like their potential better than those other teams that I've ranked below them.
Okay, Rich, it's officially that time. We have to do it one more time. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Rich. Happy birthday to you. Wednesday was his birthday, if you didn't know. Give him a shout out. Let him know that you're there for him and you care. Rich, we also got to give a shout out to my father, Joseph Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give you a shout out for Joe Perry next week. And congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Jake, Mr. and Dr. Jake Walker, who by the end of today will be married. That's exciting.
Yep. All right. So, Mike, next week on the show, we'll be looking at the Western and the Southern divisions in the NFL.
Let's do it.
So make sure to have any power rankings finalized on where you want to rank those teams. So if you're a fan of the team in the West and the South, make sure to tune in next week.
Okay, Rich. People are watching us on Facebook, but they want to listen to us on their 5-hour ride from Davenport to Esterville. What should they do?
Find us look for us wherever you find all of your other podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeart, just to name a few. Mike, if they want to find our poll questions, we already did that one.
If they want to find our poll questions and our videos live, they want to participate live in the videos and get shout-outs on air like we had last week, you should head over to Facebook.com/Balls and Sticks or Facebook.com/fans of Balls and Sticks, and you can find them there.
All right, Mike, if they don't like Facebook, but they still want to see the video feed of the show, where can they find it?
You can find that at YouTube, at youtube.com/Balls and Sticks. Look for Rich and I playing baseball in tuxedos.
All right, Mike, so that is our show for this week, and make sure to tune in next week, probably on a Saturday. Probably a Saturday morning show, and we'll be back here on Facebook Live.
Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, go ahead and roll the outro.
Balls and Sticks, the podcast with your hosts, Mike and Rich.